Hello and welcome back to our virtual classroom. This is our green cleaning class, and I'm Christy Gammon, team leader of Team Share and Shine with doTERRA Essential Oils. And I'm thrilled you're able to join us, whether you're here live or you're catching the recording at your convenience. So I'm going to share some slides with you this evening. Let me pull those up. And I just invite you to grab a cold beverage, a snack, a notebook and pen. We're going to settle in here and get ready to learn. I just had a blessed Easter weekend. I hope you did as well if you're watching this in April of 2020. But I come off of this weekend typically full of hope. That's absolutely true tonight. And feeling like I'm ready to spring clean my house. And so as I come into that energy, I just have the motivation to share it with others as well. So I'm glad you're here. And I would love to share with you some tips and tricks that I've been employing for just about the last 3 years. I've been using my essential oils faithfully for the last 10 years. And it was just recently that, I think it was 3 springs ago, that I took out my oils and some cute stickers and some glass bottles and things that I had gathered and decided I'm going to overhaul my cleaning supplies. You know, we just want to always be taking that next step into more wellness and a healthy lifestyle. And so a few years ago, the time was right for me. And so I just invite you into that. I hope the timing is right for you. And maybe some of you have done some things to eliminate toxins and chemicals from your home. Hopefully tonight, no matter where you fall on the scale, from beginner to expert, maybe you'll pick up a little something that you can use and make your home and your lifestyle just a little more healthy, a little more green. So let's jump in. And yeah, this is not at all how I feel about cleaning. I actually hate cleaning. And the story that I had created around switching out the products that I used to clean was that it would be really hard. And so everything about cleaning, and then even just the thought of adding something to the whole process of cleaning the way that I was doing it, really weighed me down. It was very heavy on me. I love the results of a clean home. I'm a big organizer, so I like clean, clear spaces. I don't like harsh chemicals. I would always have a really hard time with my eyes, with my breath, with just my lungs feeling like they were filling up with stuff that shouldn't be there. I would cough, I would sneeze. I had a little bit of issue with dust, but I think there was an equal issue with the products that I was using. So while I love the results, I just really hated the whole process. And now I can say that instead of something more to overcome, instead of something that I feel bad about while I'm doing it, and I just have to push myself through it, I now feel really good about what I'm doing, and maybe even this good. If you catch me cleaning and I look like that, that's a really good day. But I hope to instill this level of excitement and positivity by the time that we're done. So hopefully we can all feel a little more toward this by the time we're done with tonight's class. So who is affected by how we clean? And I want to just shape our discussion a little bit as we start by looking at, why should we even be talking about green cleaning? So who do we affect by how we clean? Pretty much everyone and everything. So here we see plants, animals, our pets, friends, families, especially our little ones, and the environment at large. But today we want to concentrate on the difference we can each make in our own home, that home sweet home. And I want to encourage you that you can do this. If I can do this, You can do this. And as our theme right now, we're going to do it together. And so I just want to cover a few of our intentions for this time. This is not meant to be a lengthy class, but a brief overview of just a few key topics to get you going. We're going to talk about how clean is clean and just evaluate some common products. What are the health effects of toxins, the science behind our cells, and how the power of essential oils works beautifully with our bodies, minds, and spirits. And then we're going to talk about making over our cleaning cabinet, looking at essential oils and other natural solutions and ingredients that are going to fuel some new cleaning recipes. And then we're going to finish with the tools and resources we need to bring all of this to life. And then for those of you watching the recording, hopefully you're watching with someone, or you're going to want to reach out to the person who invited you to watch this to answer any questions that you have. For those who are attending here live with me during this special broadcast, we will do our own live Q&A as soon as I end the recording. And so that's a little bit of how we're going to go tonight. So let's jump in with how clean are the cleaners. And you'll see here, I'm not going to read a lot of the slides to you or I would lose my voice. There's going to be a lot of information here for you to absorb. And so I trust that you can read that, you can take notes, you can screenshot if you want, but I'm just going to throw in a few side comments as we go through. We're using red here for a nonverbal clue of how dangerous some common household cleaners can be. And then let me just say that when you consider cleaning with chemicals and the danger that it can pose to your family, maybe if you have small children in the house and they find those chemical cleaning agents, the danger that they could get into is some of what you'll see on the screen there. But it also affects my body, the air in my home, the environment around me, all are affected by chemicals. And just, you know, to throw in the impact that just bleach has, if you use it to clean your toilet or your sink, and that drains down and goes into our water systems, that's a lot of trust and faith that we're putting in the people on the other end of those pipes carrying that bleach water away to properly purify our water before it comes back around and it's our turn to drink it. And so that can be scary, and that's one good consideration to start with. What am I personally putting into our water supply that maybe I could switch out? And then I want to mention that last line there, preservatives and fragrances. Why is that so bad? What do they even mean? And that is the million-dollar question. What do those even mean? They have become catch-alls for manufacturers. The FDA allows an ingredient list to include these generic terms like preservatives and fragrances, which can include a lot of different ingredients that we don't get to know. We don't get to read the full list. It's plural and it's vague. So we don't know exactly what it stands for. Best case, they're hazardous unknowns. Worst case, they are known carcinogens, which means there's research to show that these ingredients cause cancer. And so my opinion is, if they don't want to list it out so that the general public can be informed and research the ingredient, then that makes me suspect. If I don't have access to what is in the product because they're going to use generic things like preservatives and fragrances, then I'm going to red flag that product. And so let's look at just one specific ingredient as an example. And this is one that we're not seeing as much on products because there's been so much talk about it, but it's a great example. Triclosan. It's an ingredient added to a lot of different products to reduce or prevent bacterial contamination. So the intention of including the ingredient is good, Unfortunately, it wipes out all of our good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. And so while it's most commonly found in hand soaps and hand sanitizers, it's doing the opposite of what you think it's doing. Instead of enhancing and supporting your immune system, it's actually leaving you compromised. And so triclosan is also found in other products like clothing, kitchenware, furniture, toys. It can even be found in school supplies for children. Like this is a common product. This was an Office Max ad. What you're looking for here as a trigger is that this product is infused with the Microban antimicrobial product protection. And so that's where they're putting those triclosan and like ingredients into the plastic. They're building it in. So if you're running a daycare or a preschool and you've got little ones using supplies like that, and they're still on that edge where they might put something in their mouth, or Lord knows they're touching things and they're putting their hands in their mouth, if not all over their face and their eyes and everything else. So there's just a really high risk of absorbing toxins with products like that. Studies have increasingly linked triclosan and its chemical cousin triclocarbon to a range of adverse health and environmental effects. These include skin irritation, endocrine disruption, bacterial and compounded antibiotic resistance, and the contamination of water and its negative impact on fragile aquatic ecosystems. So just all kinds of issues and concerns. And that's just one ingredient. I just wanted to throw in one as an example. But there are many ingredients that are just plaguing our most common household cleaners. And this is the laundry list of what it looks like when you're overloaded with toxins in the home. Now, again, I've highlighted a few things here in red. Those are going to be either the most common or the most dangerous side effects. But really, the entire list from A to Z is devastating. It's too much. And there are areas in our lives where we can't control the level of toxicity that we're being exposed to, but in our own homes, our sanctuaries, our refuges from the world, we really want to do better. And so let's take a moment and consider our amazing cells, our bodies, divinely designed. So we have approximately 75 to 100 trillion cells. And I'm going to use 100 trillion just for the ease of math. In my next slide, we'll have an example. So we'll just keep that 100 trillion cells in mind. Each cell has 6 gigabytes of memory. So the capacity of our bodies to absorb and retain information and just function really highly is miraculous. And so anytime I read this statistic, I think about how sometimes I struggle. I just go into the next room and I forget entirely why I just went there. And I remember that my body, my cells have this tremendous capacity that it's more than all the computers in the world can pull off. And so there's hope for me. There's hope for you. We just want to love on ourselves as much as we can, and so we can maximize that functionality, that health and well-being. So let's just look briefly at how our cells communicate and maybe how we can get involved in this process. So the number one way that our cells communicate is through the nervous system. And thank goodness, this is like an instant message, because if we're about to put our hand on a hot burner, we want to know instantly that that's a bad idea. And so our brain is going to communicate directly to the hand instantly, don't touch that. And so we're really glad that that's there. The other form of communication that occurs more commonly, your average day-to-day, get business done type of communication, is through hormones. And it's more like a courier system or an email. The hormones go out from the brain or the central nervous system to all the different parts of the body. And they communicate all sorts of messages just to pull off everyday, ordinary functioning. And the way that they do that is through the receptor sites on each cell. And if you look at the little diagram there, you'll see a picture of the cell, and there are some wavy lines right above where it says essential oils. And that's an illustration of where that cell's receptor site is. And so that's where a message from the body could communicate to the cell. If it has the right key, the right information, the right time, then it can access the interior of the cell. Now, there are a couple of issues to be aware of. The receptor sites can become blocked. Now, that could be due to dietary choices, pharmaceuticals that we might be using for one thing or another, or toxic overload in the body. Any of those things can gang up on our cells at the receptor site, and if that receptor site is blocked, then the communication cannot occur and our body ends up malfunctioning. So then we end up in sickness or disease. So let's look at how we might affect this communication process. And we'll talk a little bit about the power of essential oils. So this is where we're going to do a little bit of math. This is a very impressive number to look at. This is 40 million trillion. It's 4 and 19 zeros. And because our essential oils are incredibly molecularly dense, but within a teeny tiny structure, they're extremely concentrated. So just one drop of any essential oil is going to have 40 million trillion molecules in it. And so what that means is that each one drop of essential oil has the capacity to cover each cell in our bodies 40,000 times. Incredible. And so where I want to land with this is because they're so powerful, when they're pure and they're potent, they have the capacity to affect a healing or a resolution or a communication getting through, whatever you want to call it, that can be sometimes instant and also permanent. And to just dig in a little more to the science of this, there are 3 main categories of essential oils, and there are several other subcategories and additional other categories, but these are the 3 main ones, and they're found in most essential oil blends. One of the things that I love about doTERRA is that our leadership are not just interested in aromatherapy. They're scientists. They understand chemistry. And when they put a blend together, they make sure it doesn't only smell fantastic, but it also, whenever possible, hits each of these 3 categories. And so the first one is phenylpropanoids and phenols, and their function is to come in and clean the receptor sites in our cells. And so if you think back to the diagram a couple slides ago where it showed the cell, and those essential oils were making their way in through the receptor site, they do get access to the interior of our cell. So they have the power to clean those receptor sites. Then if an oil is in the sesquiterpene category, it can access the interior of the cell and erase and delete any bad information that it finds. Essential oils, unlike pharmaceuticals, products created in a lab, one, they can access the interior of the cell, they can cross the blood-brain barrier, they have that ability to move freely in our bodies, and 2, they can distinguish, they're very wise, they can distinguish between what is good and what is bad. So unlike a pharmaceutical that's just going to come in and wipe out everything and then we just got to recover, your essential oil will come in and only wipe out what is bad. And then that final group of oils in the monoterpene category helps to reprogram cells and reestablish cells to a healthy state. Very exciting stuff. Now, this is where if we were doing a full-blown class, weaving in introductory information, we would go back and look again at what are essential oils? Why would we choose doTERRA? Let's talk about Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade and the way that we source our oils, and on and on and on. We would talk about a number of resources, and then we would talk about how to safely use our essential oils, whether that be aromatically, topically, or internally. And we are not going to go into all of that detail this evening because I just covered that last Tuesday, and I trust that you either watched that class already or you're going to seek out the recording for that. So we won't duplicate our efforts and recover all of that information tonight. So if you are brand new to essential oils and you happen to be watching this class first, you'll want to go back and find that intro class so you get the rest of the story. But for the purposes of this class, we are going to move forward and take a peek under our sinks. So let's look at some very common household products that we might find under our sinks. I'm just going to read through a couple of these. I want to point out degreasers. When we talk about damaging lung tissues and dissolving fatty tissues around nerve cells, I want you to think about respiratory issues and pain. That's what those words are really illustrating there. And so in my mind, what that triggers is if someone is experiencing mystery illness that involves a lot of pain, but your doctor or your healthcare provider is having a hard time diagnosing where your pain is coming from, you may want to investigate your toxic load. How many areas of your life can you maybe move the needle on your own by swapping out some toxic products like you'll see here and adding in some natural solutions instead? So that's one thing that I wanted to point out. And then oven cleaners. This is not mentioned on the slide, but when you consider the oven cleaner and just that initial cleaning application can certainly take its toll on you while you're doing the cleaning. But then think about anytime you use your oven or your microwave oven after you've cleaned, and then you're just multiplying, you're just baking whatever you have in there and just coating it with the toxic ingredients that were found in what you chose to clean with. So that's a great example of wanting to swap something out. And then something that came to mind while I was preparing for this class is the story of the rich young ruler from the Bible. And it's one of my favorite stories to think about Jesus and his sense of humor. And I just picture him with a little twinkle in his eye. And so the connection that I made is when you start to think through, okay, what can I do to make changes? I would never want anyone to feel overwhelmed by the process. I would always want you to just start somewhere. But I think of the rich young ruler, and there he was, and he says, you know, Jesus, I love you. I want to follow you. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. And so I just picture, you know, someone just learning about essential oils for the first time and saying, just tell me what to do. I'll do whatever. And I say, well, here's something you can do. You can replace all the cleaning products in your home. And so like the rich young ruler kind of hung his head like, wow, that's really hard. You're asking me to sell all my stuff, get rid of all my possessions. That's really meaningful to me. You might be thinking on a parallel, oh my gosh, overhauling everything in my house, that feels overwhelming. It feels too hard. And so you might hang your head and start to walk away. But in my opinion, that's not where the story ends. You know, the disciples and Jesus have this conversation like, oh, that's too bad. Asking him to do this is going to be harder than, you know, putting a camel through the eye of a needle. Maybe that's how you feel about overhauling your cleaning products. But that's where Jesus comes through with the line that with God, all things are possible. And I know for me, that was what I needed to realize, that I can do this. I can start making changes in my health. The green cleaning was not the first change that I made. It was further down the road for me. Whatever's first for you is going to be first for you, and that's fine. But I really felt like that was such a cool little revelation that I had earlier today that I wanted to share it. All things are possible, and in my imagination, when I pray through that scripture, I envision a little twinkle in Jesus's eye because he does know the rest of that story. He knows the end, and I just hope I'm kind of cheering on that rich young ruler, just as I cheer all of you on, that it's possible. And, you know, we don't know the end of his story, that he maybe just comes around a couple days later and says, you know what? I did it. I prayed through it, and God gave me the grace that I needed, and now here I am. And so I just trust that that grace is available to each one of you, and you can do this. And so let's take a step forward and just look at a few cleaning ingredients that you may even already have around your home that would be excellent to swap in for some of those more toxic ingredients that we just looked at. And maybe you even have some of these in your kitchen right now. A lot of these things I think are going to be familiar to you, so I'm not going to read them, but I do want to highlight essential oils, which eliminate seasonal, surface-borne, and airborne threats and provide a pure, clean aroma. They also make absolutely wonderful companions to all of the ingredients listed above there, so that you can make up some of your own new cleaning solutions. And so what I want to do for the next few minutes is just highlight my top 6 favorite cleaning oils. And so the first one I want to start with is wild orange. We're going to cover 4 single oils and 2 blends. So wild orange is first, sunshine in a bottle. It's one of my absolute favorite cleaning oils, and I'm just going to let you read what's there on the screen. You're going to find some information that's related directly to cleaning your home. You're also going to find just some properties of each of these oils to continue to reassure you what powerful agents, along with what safe options you have here. So this is wild orange, and I'm just going to breathe that in for a minute. Oh my gosh. Delicious. My favorite way to use wild orange is just with a little carrier oil on a microfiber cloth, and I like to polish all of my wood furniture with wild orange. It smells incredible. It gives your furniture a brilliant shine, and it's just delightful for someone to come in after you've cleaned everything. It just makes a big impression. And so I love all the things that wild orange does for me while I'm polishing my furniture. It just overall makes my experience so much more positive. So let's look at lemon for just a minute. My favorite way to use lemon, and I'm just going to breathe it in because it smells like candy. Absolutely love lemon. And I encourage you, if you have your essential oils, you want to pull these out while we're talking about them. Just refresh your memory of what they are and what they do, and enjoy them by smelling them along with me. And maybe that'll give you a little motivation to clean sometime this week. All the benefits of lemon are there for, well, just a few benefits of lemon are there for you. There are so many. My favorite ways to use it are as a natural Goo Gone. So anytime you have something that's sticking to something, a surface, a little bit of lemon on a paper towel, just really a drop is plenty and removes really anything. It's great. My favorite diffuser blend is called Fresh Air, and I will typically diffuse this while I'm cleaning. And that includes lemon, lime, and tea tree or Melaleuca in equal parts. And I have a couple of different, in addition to the diffuser, I wanted to do show and tell with a couple of things here. This is one of my air fresheners. It's a beautiful little misting spray. And so see how it just kind of shoots out. It's like a delayed release. It smells incredible. That is the Melaleuca, tea tree, and lemon blend. And then I also make these little sprays that you can use, shake up and do a little room spray. Very convenient. You could take that along with you to travel. It's a smaller size. And what else did I want to show for lemon. I also made up this just little multi-purpose cleaner that's I called Squeaky Clean. This was one of my cute little labels that I had sitting around for a while, and one of my bottles that I made up a few years ago. And you just refill it when it empties, and it only has vinegar and distilled water. And this one has lemon, eucalyptus, and peppermint in it. And so really you can clean whatever you want with it. If you have something like, I use this a lot when maybe I'm getting ready for a garage sale and I want to wipe some things down, or if you've got maybe some patio furniture or different things that you just want to do a general clean, this is a great little recipe to use. Oh yes, and my little guest star that's been waiting patiently here in the background, I wanted to show this is my Shark Genius Steam Mop. I'll just hold it all the way up. It comes with these pads that you can throw in the washing machine, and then this little portion right here is what you fill with water, and you can put essential oils in there as well. And so that's another place where I love to use my tea tree and lemon and lime combo. One of my absolute favorite uses of those oils. And so let me transition then to tea tree that I had just mentioned, also known as Melaleuca, and it's what I would call the anti-oil because it's anti-everything. And so when you look at this oil, you might think, oh my gosh, this is a heavy hitter, this is really powerful. What kind of impact is this going to have on my skin? And so I'm really excited to point out that this would be my #1 first choice for anything skin related. The very oil that would be our heavy hitter, anti-everything oil is also my #1 choice for just a gentle skin cleanser. So to address any type of skin issue, and if you know me well, you know what I've recovered from, and tea tree along with our next oil, which is lavender, were the two that I used almost exclusively to help restore my skin. And so I hope that that's really comforting to you to know that our doTERRA essential oils are not only pure and powerful, they're also safe. I would take that same oil that I would use to cut mold and mildew and my nastiest stains, and I would turn around and I would use it in my moisturizer. And so I hope that's really encouraging to you as you consider making some of these transitions. And so then lavender, just briefly, if you're going to allow your green cleaning to spill over into your first aid, then lavender is my top recommendation to have on hand. And you might want this in your kitchen or your bathroom or a first aid kit that you would take with you, because it really bumps, bruises, scrapes, scratches, whatever you have going on. Lavender will be my first choice to use. Some of those things can happen while you're cleaning. And so it's a good thing to have on hand in case you get a little boo-boo and you need to address that. Lavender is also wonderful for after a long day of green cleaning and you just want to relax and unwind. You can diffuse it, you can put it in your bath, you can put it in your linens, on your pillow and sheets, and just settle in for a really deep, restful sleep. So those are a few ways that I love to use lavender, and you'll see the last item on there is seasonal threats. In our house this time of year, we're all using lavender, peppermint, and lemon together for our seasonal issues. Each one of us in the household has different symptoms when it comes to seasonal issues, and that very simple combination of lavender, lemon, and peppermint helps us all. And so whereas Greg and I would take a soft gel, Kate loves to diffuse the oils. So that's what you can smell coming from her bedroom in the springtime. And then let's wrap with just 2 blends. The first one I want to highlight is Purify. And this is a blend of 7 different oils. Those are all pictured across the bottom of the slide there. And my favorite ways to use Purify are, 1, in my laundry. I use the On Guard laundry soap in my washer, and then in my dryer, I use wool dryer balls, and I drop a generous amount, about 7 drops of Purify on each of 2 wool dryer balls that go in the dryer, and I love the way that my laundry comes out smelling. It's also, and it doesn't just smell good, it's also killing anything that I wouldn't want to stick to my laundry. And so it's great for eliminating odors. As a natural Febreze, you could put it into a spray bottle like this one. Just a few drops of Purify in distilled water would be great. And I will just, if I have this one drain in our basement on the floor that sometimes will have a strange smell, like especially after it's rained really hard and just some things move through, who knows, and I get a little bit of a weird odor in the basement. And so I'll just take a couple drops directly from the bottle down the drain, and then it smells, it's resolved. It smells amazing. And I know that it's, if there was any mold or mildew or anything that I didn't want to be growing in there, it's also going to be totally eliminated by that oil. And lastly, if you want to make a big impression in your house, you can put some drops of Purify on your furnace filter. And then anytime either your heat or your air conditioning kicks on, that will diffuse all throughout your home. And I have saved the best for last. This is On Guard, our protective blend. And I just realized I forgot to be smelling all these oils. I trust that you've been enjoying them. But this is On Guard. This is our protective blend. And it is absolutely, if you're only to have one oil to incorporate into your cleaning, this would be my first choice. It is multi-purpose. I use it in the bath, I use it in the kitchen, I use it on countertops, and I use it on floors. It just really goes everywhere. You can diffuse it to purify the air. This is another good one to put on the furnace filter and diffuse all throughout the home. And nothing can live in its presence. It's been thoroughly researched through clinical trials and studies. I always like to point people to PubMed.gov. That's PUBMED altogether .gov, and you'll find just an entire library of our nation's research. This is where doctors and medical professionals and researchers go to see what's official. And it's pretty exciting. You can search lemon, you can search frankincense, and you'll get any number of research studies that involve those oils. The only oil that's listed by brand name is On Guard. And I think you'll be excited about what you find there. Let's see what else I wanted to say. Oh, and this one you see in the little picture there, it's a blend of 5 different oils. It has clove, cinnamon, wild orange, rosemary, and eucalyptus. Okay, and so this is a slide that you're probably going to want to screenshot. These are several cleaning recipes that are just my free gift to you to help get you started. A lot of these use those common household ingredients that you're going to find maybe you already have on hand or that are easy to pick up when the next time you go to the grocery or place your grocery order. You can look for these things. And then I think every one of these has some ideas to incorporate your essential oils. So feel free to screenshot this. And if you have thoughts about, like, well, what would I use? I think one of the screens previously showed a toilet cleaner. That's one that I'm not noticing that's on this sheet. I think it was on one of the previous slides. If there's anything that you wish you had that's not on this little sheet, of course, there are others. Google will bring up so many options, and often the doTERRA blog is full of DIYs and ideas, and so when you do your Google search, a lot of those blog topics will come up for you. And so if you want doTERRA specific, those will come up in your search as well. So if health and safety aren't enough to motivate you, then I thought I would just throw in just a couple more reasons to consider why you would want to make over your cleaning cabinet. There are several great ideas there. What I want to leave with you as we wrap up and just do a few final slides is I just encourage you to keep it simple and just take that one step at a time and have confidence that you can do this. One way to keep it ultra simple is to choose the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate. And I have my bottle right here. This is kind of a one-stop shop. It's a great place to start. It's so easy to use. Right here on the label, it shows you all the different ways that you can use it. As a multi-purpose cleaner is probably the main way that I use it. I picked up this plastic bottle at the dollar store, literally $1, made my own little cute label, and just filled it with 2 tablespoons of the cleaner concentrate and filled the rest with water up to 24 ounces. And so this lasts a long time and is a great use. You spray it on your tables and countertops in the kitchen or the dining room. You can use it in the bathroom. You can use it so many places. There are a bunch of options listed there for you on the screen. But that's just a really easy way to keep things simple and get started. You can put just a little bit in a bucket and it replaces your spick and span. It can replace Comet in the bathtub. So many different household brand names can be swapped out with this one simple bottle. Here's another really good fresh idea. I used to have a lot of fake plants in my house, which unfortunately become landing places for dust and airborne pathogens. Not exactly what you want. And I used to do a lot of that because I didn't have a green thumb. And maybe I still don't, but I'm trying to overcome that and just put the cookies on the low shelf and start with some plants that are really easy to maintain and see how we do and just build from there. So these are 3 great houseplant ideas. They don't cost a lot of money. They and don't require a lot of light or attention. So you don't have to water them constantly, which is good because I forget to water plants. We have had the one in the middle, the bedroom plant. It actually sits in our living room, but that's one that I bought 3 years ago when I overhauled my green cleaning stuff, and it is still alive, woo, in our living room. It looks great. And then each year I try to do a little something else. So my new addition for this year, see how cute it is a mini money plant. And this I picked up just at my Kroger store for $9.99. Very affordable. I only have to water it every 2 weeks, and it does not require direct sunlight, so it can sit here on my desk in my office with just, whatever light I have coming in. And I've had that since around Christmas time, and it's doing great. And so again, if I can do this, you can do this. So houseplants are just another easy way to eliminate toxins in your home. I want to talk about diffusing just for a moment and why that would be important. You can read the screen, but a lot of times in classes I talk about our built-in diffusers being right here. You just put a drop of your favorite oil, rub your palms together, and breathe in. You can also breathe directly from the bottle, as I was demonstrating earlier. Those are great for personal use, but when you're trying to affect the air quality in your home and really purify the air in larger spaces, not just this little area where you're breathing, you really do want a diffuser. And so what does that look like? doTERRA has a whole line of diffusers that you can choose from. A hack that you can use at home to get started right away is to put an unscented dryer sheet in any one of your vents in your room. It could be a floor vent or a wall vent. Just pop the cover off and put a couple drops of a favorite oil. Any of the 6 that we talked about would be beautiful choices. And just put a couple drops of oil on your sheet and then replace the cover. And whenever your air conditioning or your heat turns on, then that will diffuse that oil in the room. And then we had already talked about using the furnace filter as a whole house diffuser. That's a great idea too. And then in summary, what are some steps to going green? Just what you're doing right now. Start to educate yourself. Just open your mind to the possibilities and the fact that you can do this. I invite everyone to become a label reader and to do your own research and homework. It's always going to be most meaningful to you if you invest a little bit of your time and energy and do some primary research. Attending a class like this and listening to my experience and my knowledge is great, but it's a secondary level. And so to do that, digging and learning on your own time as well becomes a primary source, and then you're more likely to act on that. So I encourage you to take what you've learned tonight and then take that next step and make it your own. Don't succumb to marketing. So a lot of times you'll see on products keywords like biodegradable, organic, earth-friendly. That doesn't necessarily mean there's no toxins in there. Marketing can get away with all kinds of misinformation and untruths. And so you want to look below the surface, look beyond the marketing, the cute packaging, and really read those labels and find out what's in there before you move forward. You definitely want to acquire the best resources. We've talked a lot about our essential oils and other products that you have around your home. That would be great to use. And then just start replacing and eliminating, even one thing at a time. We talked about how important diffusing is, and then share the message. Maybe there's somebody that you know that you can do this with together. Maybe an extended family member or a good friend. Maybe you already have a cleaning buddy and you go to their home one day and do cleaning together and then go to the other place. If you have a cleaning buddy, God bless you. I'm so jealous of you. I would love to have a cleaning buddy. So that would be another way to encourage each other and put your green cleaning items together. I highly encourage community to be able to stick with it. So here are some specific resources that I recommend. The Modern Essentials book is there on the screen. You can flip toward the back of the book and it has a beautiful section called Essential Living. It has great DIY and cleaning recipes there for you, things specific to kitchen and bathroom, but some multi-purpose cleaning recipes as well. And then two of my favorite websites are Aroma Tools and Oil Life. Aroma Tools has these really cute little cleaning labels here in the center on sale right now. That sheet, you're going to get 10 labels for about $3, and I think it was 15 cents. So not a bad investment to make your cleaning supplies look really cute. And then they also have just so many different containers. I'm showing the blue spray bottle. That's a glass bottle that I personally own a bunch of. And then the little green spray bottle, like I showed earlier, that is available in 4 or 5 different colors, I think, and it's plastic, but it's the high level plastic that's safe to use with your essential oils. And then the picture at the bottom there with all the bottles showing what the labels look like on the bottles, that is a kit that you can get from Oil Life. And it comes with multiple sets. Coming back to the idea about having a cleaning buddy, if you want to get a group of people together, or if you want to host a green cleaning class like this, but live and in somebody's dining room or kitchen where we can spread out, we can make some things together, we might choose this kit, and then we would have recipe cards and labels, and we would just gather all of our ingredients and make up a few of the cleaners right there on site. That could be something fun to do here in the future. And then finally, you definitely want to have your doTERRA membership going. If you don't already, there are several different options. I'm just going to highlight a couple this evening. Our enrollment kits waive the $35 initial fee to become a member. It's just like joining Costco. So if you choose an enrollment kit, that $35 fee is waived, and then you get access to wholesale prices, just like I pay, for an entire year. There are no commitments or monthly minimums unless you want to enroll in our loyalty rewards program, but that's completely optional, and that's something we can talk about another time if that interests you. But just to hit the ground running, this Healthy Home Kit is a great place to start because it has a lot of those products that you're going to want to start swapping out. Some of our personal care products like the shampoo and the toothpaste, and then those on guard resources that you'll love to have, the cleaner concentrate, your foaming hand soap, your hand sanitizing mist, and then these are our top 10 oils. So you're going to get most of what we talked about in the class that we highlighted this evening. Let's see here. What I would want to add to this kit to make it just a little bit more complete would be the laundry soap, Wild Orange, and Purify. Or if you want to just start with this kit, then in future orders, those would be some things that I would add on just to get myself started. But it comes with a diffuser and the top 10 oils, so this would be a great entree into not only your essential oils, but a more non-toxic lifestyle. This would really help get your green cleaning started. And then this is the kit that I am personally enrolled with, and so I always recommend this kit. I've never had a regret about investing at this level. This is touted as everything you need for a lifestyle shift. So in our family, when we enrolled in doTERRA, we were very serious at that point about making changes in our health, making changes in our toxic load. As I said, I did not get around to the green cleaning stuff until just a few years ago. It took me some time to work through other areas of my life, but we got there, and this kit is an amazing place to start. Again, I would want to add the laundry soap. I would want to add Purify, and the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate is not part of this kit, but those would be great future orders or add-on, however you want to look at it. And then also I always like to recommend you can completely customize any order. If you want to pay the $35, you can choose, for example, the 6 oils that we highlighted this evening, a bottle of the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate, and a diffuser. That might be your own green cleaning starter kit. I could help you put that together. And if you want to, you know, address a little something that would be a health goal or concern naturally, we could talk one-on-one and figure out what that order looks like for you. Just know that that customizable option is always available. So as we wrap up, I was really touched by this quote because it's exactly representative of my personal experience. Once you green one aspect of your life, I can guarantee that you'll want to continue. Going green is a constantly evolving process that all follows from that first tiny step. Just as small everyday exposures to toxic chemicals can severely damage your health over the long term, small everyday improvements can yield powerful long-term benefits. So I hope that's really encouraging to you. That's just been my journey. I started with one small step, and I was way down in the pit, my friends. And so I've been able to turn a lot of things around just by slowly over the last 10 years, taking the next step and the next step and the next step. And so I highly encourage you to do the same, and I'm here to link arms with you and help you step by step along the way, along your journey. So just start with one simple change. You can decide what that looks like for you and go from there. I will be here, my team will be here to support you. And then just one little last visual of encouragement. You probably remember the story of the little boy and the beach full of starfish, and we think about, you know, our environment, our planet, and, you know, what can we do to make a difference? And I would never want anyone to feel overwhelmed, but to draw encouragement from that little boy who said it matters to this one. And so think about your life, think about your household, and what you can do to make a difference there. And if more and more of us do that, then we do create that wider impact. And so I pray that each of you will have the courage to start there, and may God bless and multiply your efforts. I'm just going to pop up a final screen showing a lot of different references and resources, some of which were used to build this presentation. They would be great things to check out from the library if you're looking to do some more of that primary research and learn in even more depth. I thank you each for attending tonight. Let's see how we're doing with our time. Perfect. We're just right before 8 o'clock. So I am going to click out of my screen share and just say good evening to those of you who are watching the recording. I thank you for joining me. And if this class has been beneficial to you, then I would love it for you to share it with others. And depending on who invited you to the class, I encourage you to reconnect with that person, ask any questions that you have. If you're ready to enroll, they're there to help you do that. If you're my personal guest, then I look forward to you reaching out in person, and we'll have a one-on-one conversation. We'll get you enrolled, we'll get you started. I'll answer any questions you have about green cleaning or any other essential oil related topics. Thank you so much, and be well.